Hello and welcome everyone, Vincent here, and I am super excited to get in today's video. But first, before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory about who I am because I'm assuming that you might not know. So just for a brief little capture of my history, I used to play a lot of competitive TCGs. Mostly that was Magic the Gathering. Before that, it was a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, but mostly a Magic the Gathering background. My father actually paid a pro to tutor me. Paid them per hour, $20 per hour. And in like early 2000s time, that's like a thousand gajillion dollars due with our inflation currently. So, my dad really pulled out all the stops for that. But anyways, yeah, this guy like trained me to play professionally. I went to tons of different regional tournaments for what they had called the Junior Super Series, and I did at least 4 of those, and I placed in the top 8 in each of them. I think I placed second place in one, fourth place, and then just scattered throughout there for the rest of them. But yeah, I love TCGs. I've also made some of my own card games that are not TCGs. TCGs is a hard market to crack into. A lot of them have infamously died thanks to the big three: Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh. But Grand Archive is one of the ones that shows a little bit more promise for various reasons. It sort of combines what they call like the Japanese style or Eastern style with like Western game design. And Western game design does fit more into like what I'm into. Like I feel like it just sort of is easier to grasp for even newer players, but it doesn't mean that it loses strategy, which is something very important to me as a game designer and as a player. You want something that's very easy to read, simple to get into, but has a lot of depth. And a lot of times people feel like those things are mutually exclusive, where if it's simple, it means it's like baby mode. And if it's easy to learn, it's baby mode. And if it's like hard to learn, then it's like better, or like it's better simply by the virtue of it being more complicated, which just isn't true. You can have something that's easy to get into, but has a surprising amount of depth. So I'm hoping Grand Archive falls into that. As far as my knowledge of this game, I briefly read up on it whenever they first announced it, whenever they first put out the Kickstarter. I think I briefly read the rules then, and I haven't really looked at it since. I've been kind of blind going in. I don't know, however you want to say it, but this is my first time seeing most of these cards, and I just want to give my fresh perspective of someone who's a game designer and used to be a competitive card game player. Now I'm much more of a casual TCG player, in part because having my own tabletop game company definitely takes up a lot of time, and anytime I would spend being a competitive TCG player gets sucked into Vindicated Entertainment. So, in which I'm perfectly happy with. But yeah, let's take a look at these. So obviously, we have the spirits here, and they say on enter draw 7. I assume that's like what you start the game with. You have to have a spirit, you draw 7, because otherwise this would just be a busted card. If it's just a card that you just play regularly and just draw 7. Then it looks like we have our champions. They have the level 1, level 2, level 3. I'm not going to get much into reviewing how good these are, because I think it's pretty obvious that without having like extensive knowledge of like playing the game and testing and stuff like that you're not really going to be able to correctly weigh these out, or really tell just how good these are, because these guys are gonna have a lot more variance to them than some of your more basic cards. It is cool though to see that there's 2 different Lorraines at level 3. So it looks like you're going to be able to change, like, so you're going to start off with this level 1, this level 2, but then you can go into either of those, which also means that in future sets we could get other level 1s and level 2s to go into these level 3s, or more level 3s, So we have Rye Spellcrafter, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 3, so same with him. Obviously they have different types. It seems like they're going sort of the Magic route, where you have a class and a race. I will say it is throwing me off a little bit that it's class then race. I feel like human warrior sounds better than the other way around. Also, I'm getting a random phone call. I think I know what this is. I probably need to take this. All right. So yeah, it kind of throws me off that it's warrior human instead of human warrior. Mage human, tamer human. It's the little things. I know that's a very nitpicky thing. It's not like that big of a deal, to be honest. I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. Then we have Sylvie, loved by all. Tamer. I do feel like she's going to be a fan favorite. Not for me personally, but I just feel like there's people in this anime community and be like, yeah, we love Sylvie. Xander is the assassin with the blinding steel. That is definitely an interesting assassin type style. You know, he kind of reminds me of a paladin, and it even sort of references that with the blinding steel. Makes me think of that, or always watching or prepared scout. Like, very interesting to me. So Xander is maybe my current favorite there. Out of these, yeah, I think I mean, I love assassins though. I'm always partial to them. Um, and then we have the regalias, which seems to be sort of like their special equipment that goes to them. So, for example, Endura, Scepter of Ignition, remove an light encounter from your champion, deal 1 damage to a target unit. Activate this ability only at slow speed. Obviously, slow speed to me sounds like sorcery speed, so like during your turn, and you can't do it in response to things. Also reminds me a bit of Legends of Runeterra, which is probably my favorite game, like TCG design-wise. Unfortunately, that is only a digital card game, which I love playing physical card games. So the fact that this is physical is definitely a huge plus for me. If it wasn't, I probably wouldn't even take the time to be looking at it right now, to be honest with you. Merlin, the Memory Thief. Choose a card from a graveyard and banish it. If that card has floating memory, put a level counter on Merlin. Okay, so that's another champion. Tristan, Grimstalker. Interesting. Female Tristan. We'll take it though. On ally hit, you may remove 3 preparation counters from Tristan. If you do, destroy the hit ally. Beginning of your end phase of Tristan is awake. Put a preparation. So there's a lot of terminology in here, and just something you want to watch out for is whenever you're jumping into a game, that this terminology, I don't know, it can throw people off. I will say though, they might be doing the magic route where the terminology is explained a lot on the commons and uncommons. Even though this appears to be a common here. So life is cheap. Just tell me how many. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, obviously they'll have a rule book and they'll explain it, but it can definitely help to have some reminder text. As long as you keep it in an italicized, it's easier to kind of skip past if you already know what it says. Because the tension is you don't want to just fill up the text box with tons of unnecessary verbiage or wording or anything like that either. Orb of Choking Fumes. Banish Orb of Choking Fumes. Cards your opponents activate this turn. Cost 1 more to activate. Class bonus, draw a card. This is an Assassin Bauble. This seems fairly good to me. I mean, this can completely set off your opponent's tempo. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like that could be pretty good, to be honest. And I assume this doesn't have to be done at slow speed because it doesn't say that. I did not mean to click that again. Let's see what else we got. We have... We need to scroll down more. Assassin's Ripper. Very large for an assassin. Well, I guess it could be smaller. Remove a preparation counter from your champion. Assassin's Ripper gets +2 attack until the end of turn, or damage. It's probably damage. Bauble of Abundance. Each player draws a card. I think this would be ran in like combo decks. If there's like a 3-card combo that wins you the game, then you don't really care if your opponent gets an extra card out of it because you're just hoping to combo off. Draw a card, class bonus up to 1 target non-human ally you control gets +1 health until the end of turn. And I'm sorry if I use the wrong terminology. I'm just going off of like what makes sense to me, off of what I know. Beast Bond Boots. You banish them. Your champion gains Spell Shroud. Yeah, it can't be targeted by spell. So yeah, it clarifies that. It would probably be better if it couldn't be targeted by your opponent's spells. Because I know with Magic the Gathering, they had a mechanic called Shroud, and it was the same thing as Spell Shroud here. And they learned that gameplay-wise, it worked better having what they now call hexproof, which is only for your opponents. And one reason why it works out better is a lot of people got confused with it playing out this way. So I feel like that's something that they'll probably change down the road, but it would have been nice to just start that off the gate without having to learn from the mistakes of something else, you know. And they go into more detail about why that didn't work for them. Beast Bond Ears. Your champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal or beast ally. Target animal or beast, blah, blah, blah. Blinding Orb, rather. Chalice of Blood. Draw 2 cards. Activate its ability only if you control a champion with 20 or more damage counters on them. That's interesting. Seems like most champions don't have much more than 20 health, so this is sort of like a late game thing. So it only kind of works if you're losing, but it is better than cards that only work if you're winning. So, you know, I feel like it's a decent card, but I'm not sure if it's like an amazing card. There could be some sort of combo deck that works off of dealing damage to yourself and then ramping up cards and then, you know, comboing off or something. So I could see that being a thing. But other than that, I think it's like kind of like an okay card, but there's probably better cards in the set. Prismatic Edge. On enter, each player reveals all cards in their memory. If a fire element card was revealed, choose a unit and deal 3 damage to it. If a water element was revealed, draw a card. If a wind element card was revealed, each opponent banishes a card at random from their memory. This seems pretty cool, and probably fairly good. It's a little flashy, so maybe it's not like the best, but it seems solid in the right deck. Curved Dagger costs 0. As long as your champion is attacking an ally, Curved Dagger gets +1 damage. Yeah, so normally equipment's not the best. This sounds like it's decent to probably to most people. And it also matters too, like if I'm not sure if the equipment in this game, if you put it on your character, well, it's a regalia weapon, so I assume it like stays. It's not like a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh where you have an equipment, the monster dies, so does the equipment or the equip spell. I think here it stays, in which case it's probably a lot better than what it would be in something like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. Caliburn of Silencing. On champion hit, the hit champion loses all abilities until the beginning of your next turn. This might be even better. Yeah, this seems like it could shut people down, in a way that really messes some people up. Conceal. Allies you control gain stealth until the end of turn. Units with stealth can't be targeted by attacks unless permitted by True Sight. And it's fast. Excalibur. Cursed Sword. On enter, choose a player. That player gains control of Excalibur. Whenever you materialize a card, deal 2 damage to your champion. Huh. I wonder if this is at all based off of Soul Eater. Because that Excalibur definitely feels like a cursed sword. Drawn Blade. On enter, draw a card. That's kind of fun. And that helps provide... drawing a card, filtering through your deck. There's probably something with this where you can like return it to your hand, play it, and keep drawing cards. Something like that. So it seems like that could be useful. And also, I'm just going to sort of like skim through these, by the way, because I didn't want this video to be like 2 hours long. But if you want, if you would rather see very long, in-depth videos, let me know. But I felt like you probably would rather me just give an overarching opinion of things. Mana limiter, you can't remove enlightened counters from your champion to pay for cost. You banish it, draw a card, activate this ability only if your champion has 6 or more enlightened counters on them. Is this good? No, this doesn't seem good. Having this negative effect here doesn't mean that it's a bad card necessarily. A lot of people read a negative effect immediately as being bad, but this one costs 0. You banish it, draw a card, but you can only activate it if you have 6 or more enlightened counters. Whereas up here, this does cost 1, but you immediately get to draw a card on enter, and you get a weapon out of it. So, while this one's 0 cost, that one's 1 cost, it seems like the difference between 0 to 1 and getting 6 enlightened counters and not being able to use your enlightened counters is a bigger detriment. I could be wrong. I mean, this is a mage bauble, and that's a warrior sword, so maybe there's something there too. But I also feel like mages probably have better draw power than this, so this just seems like it's not that good. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Seeing all the equipment here kind of makes me think of Flesh and Blood, which is a card game I haven't really played too much, but I know that in that card game you start off with a bunch of different equipment based off of your champion or your character. I don't exactly like how Flesh and Blood plays, but this at least fits more my style. I like the art style in this a lot better, and I like that you actually have like units or characters that you have. Map of Hidden Passage enters the field rested, which is obviously like tapped, sideways. And then they have a rest symbol. It kind of looks a little funny to me, but banish Map of Hidden Passage until the end of turn. Units with stealth can't be interrupted. Melodious Flute. Your champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal or beast ally. You banish it. The next Harmony action card you activate this turn is a melody in addition to its other types. Okay, so got fun stuff there. Yeah, so a lot of this is like the equipment, smoke bombs, which is fun. Give people stealth. Let's get down to business. So we have the Woodland Squirrels, cost 0, 1/1. Tamer animal squirrel, so that's fun. Okay, people are gonna like playing squirrels. There's probably gonna be some sort of squirrel spamming deck or something. Horn of Beast Calling, banish it. The next beast ally card you activate this turn costs 3 less to activate. Class bonus draw a card. Okay, seems like that could be good. Put 3 preparation counters on your champion with accepted contract. The Banner Knight, Careful Study. Efficiency, this card costs level less to activate based on your champion's level. Okay, cool. So it costs 8 normally, but it's going to cost less than that. Put 5 enlightened counters on your champion. You may remove 3 enlightened counters from your champion and draw a card. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. So there's a lot of draw power for the mages, it seems. Intercept, whenever your champion is attacked, you may redirect that attack to this ally. Remove 2 enlightened counters from your champion. The next time damage would be dealt to barrier servant this turn, prevent that damage. Okay, so this seems fairly solid. I mean, it costs 3 for 2/2, which seems fairly bad, but it seems like this could be really useful in like some sort of enlightened ramp deck or something, if that's a thing. Backstab. As long as your champion is attacking a rested unit, backstab gets +2. Okay, yeah. Cool. You gotta have backstab in there for assassins, of course. Clean cut, on kill, draw a card. Deflecting edge. It's a reaction, so that sounds like something you can play during anyone's turn. This card costs 1 less to activate if you control a sword weapon. Prevent the next 3 attack damage that would be dealt to target unit this turn. It's fast. So that's fun. Empowering Harmony. Your champion gets +2 level until the end of turn. Harmonize. If you've activated a melody card this turn, draw a card. Tempered Steel. Put a durability count on target weapon you control. Floating Memory. Dungeon Guide. On enter, you may banish 2 cards at random from your memory. If you do, level up your champion. I wonder how good something like this is. I don't know that this seems good, but I could be completely wrong. It could be like a super busted card or something. I mean, like leveling up your leveling up your champion though does seem pretty good. Actually, you know what? I take it back. It's probably a pretty good card. It's just having 3 for a 1/3 in stats is like normally pretty rough. Like if that was a 2 for a 1/3, that card would be busted. Like I already feel that card would be super busted if it costs 2. So 3 seems like the more balanced approach. I just don't know if it's like balanced to where it's slightly like not like busted or if it's still kind of busted. Esteemed Knight, 3 for 2/3 intercept. Seems kind of like a basic, like a card that's not like terrible. For competitive, he'll probably be terrible, but it's like a starter deck card. Enraged Boars, 5 for 4/4. Pride 5. This ally won't obey you unless your champion is level 5 or higher. I didn't even know your champion could get to level 5. I see that they had like the level 1, 2, and 3. Can you? I guess you can go past that, but is this even good though? Because 5 for a 4/4 doesn't seem that good. You had 0 for a 1/1 with the squirrels, and then to have it where this thing like can't even do anything, you know, because of its pride, which is a cool mechanic. Makes me think of Pokemon, not the card game, but the video game. It's cool. It's a cool mechanic. I just don't know if this card's any good. It's probably not meant to be good. This has a new ability. This unit wakes up at the beginning of your end phase. Apply this effect only if your character's class matches this card's class. Okay, so you need to have a tamer there. As long as you control a beast ally, Fervent Beastmaster gets +1 damage and +1 heart. Galahad Court Knight, unique allies. So it's cool that they have unique allies. Galahad can attack using sword weapons you control. That's fun. Gildas, balance. It gets +3 damage as long as the amount of cards in your hand and memory are equal. Makes me think a bit of Beatrice from ReZero in a good way, I suppose. Harness mana. Put any amount of cards from your hand into your memory. Floating memory, honorable, idle thoughts. Ravaging Tempest looks cool. It's like Yasuo came through here. This one, efficiency. Banish all allies. For each ally banished this way, its controller draws a card. Ooh. Well, this can be done fast, so this would be good if someone's trying to, you know, blow up the field, and then you want to Ravaging Tempest and basically get card advantage from it. I don't know that this is super good though. It is really cool looking. It really stands out to me, as far as its like art and stuff. But I don't know that's the best card. But you know, it's all like sort of relative to the other cards in the set as well. You know, like if it depends like where the power level is at. You know, like a lot of these cards could be super good or super bad depending on how good or bad the other cards are. Inspiring Call, and obviously the artwork for these cards are amazing. I love the art for them. Reclaim, return target ally you control to its owner's hand. Invigorated Slash, as long as your champion has leveled up this turn, Invigorated Slash gets +2 damage. Juggle Knives, deal 1 damage to target champion. That's fun. It's an Assassin / Ranger skill, so it's cool that you can sort of mix it up, whichever one you want to do. Not the best card though overall. I mean, you do get to draw a card off of it as long as you have the class bonus, but you know, still not the best. Kingdom Informant. Actually, you know what? Well, it depends on how many cards there are with 1 defense that are played a lot here. But this probably won't be that great. But if there's like a busted card that has 1 health, then it's probably gonna see play. Kingdom Informant, Stealth, and then Floating Memory, Opening Cut, Nemu, Curse Touch. So there's a lot of Arthurian legend going on in the set, which is fun. I mean, it's public domain, so they can definitely use that, and something people are familiar with, so I think it works. Library Witch, definitely a fun card here. Fairly basic, can intercept, on death draw a card. Seems like that will be a fairly staple card in the beginning of people's play. Owl Familiar. On enter, Glimpse 2, which seems like Scry for Magic. So look and rearrange the cards, and then you can put them on the top of the deck in any order. Yeah, that's fun. Anger the Skies. Deal 3 damage to all allies. Class bonus, deal 4 damage to those allies instead. Peer into mana. Port Smuggler. Port Smuggler's attacks can't be intercepted. That's fun, but still probably not the best. Rebellious Bull, 5, 3/4, Pride 3, enters the field rested. So yeah, still seems pretty weak overall though. Reckless Slash, sometimes the simplest tactic is the most effective. Okay, yeah, no, this seems... It seems pretty good. I can't tell necessarily if it's slow speed or not, or like how exactly this works. Because it's not an action, it's an attack. So I don't know exactly the difference. I assume you could only do that during your turn. So it makes it a little bit worse, but I do think that would still see play. Power Overwhelming. I feel like this should be called Overwhelming Power. Remove any amount of enlightened counters from your champion. Your champion gets +1 level for each counter removed this way until the end of the turn. Is it that you can go up to level 3, but like you can go up to level 3 as far as your character cards, but you can technically be a higher level than that, but you stick with the level 3 character card? I assume that's what it is, unless someone tells me otherwise. Savage Slash, Floating Memory. Looks like it deals 2 damage there. Scry the Skies. It's a good name. Spirit Blade, Dispersion. It's always fun. Sudden Steel, Strategic Planning. Song of Nurturing, Smack with Flute. Okay. Yeah, it's important, I think, to have some cards like this. On attack, your champion gets +1 level until the end of turn. Yeah, that's fun. I dig it. Weaponsmith, Trusty Steel, Spirit Blade Infusion, Arthur, Young Heir. On enter, you may rest. If you do, gains immortality until the beginning of your next turn. As long as Arthur is rested, other allies you control get +1. This seems pretty good. I mean, it costs 4, which is a bit much. It seems like overall the power level in the set is fairly on the lower side. They're maybe trying to play it safe, but because it's also lower, it means a lot of these cards are actually maybe a little bit better, you know, because it's starting off at a low place. So comparatively, like I was saying earlier, these are probably not so bad. Cemetery Century. On enter, you may discard a fire element card. If you do, draw a card. Yeah, there's probably something. I'm wondering if there's like flicker effects where you can sort of remove and then bring something back. Because something like that would be really good because you can reuse it. Blitz Mage, 3 for a 3/1. Crimson. See, like something like this though just seems really bad because like you can play a squirrel for 0, and the squirrel would destroy this person. I mean, she's obviously better once in play than the squirrels, but the squirrels cost 0, she costs 3, which is a huge difference. Creative Shock, draw 2 cards and discard a card. Class bonus, if it's fire element discarded, deal 2 damage to it. Cremation Ritual, as an additional cost to activate this card, sacrifice an ally you control, draw 2 cards. Yeah, even this is really slow and a little clunky. In Magic, they have a card that costs 2, and you can basically do this at instant speed and draw 2 cards, and even that didn't really see much play. So for this to cost more and to be slow, you know, I don't know. But like I said, it's a lower power level set. It kind of reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh in that way, in terms like Yu-Gi-Oh starts off like super weak and weird in terms of its power level. Like it's super low, but there's some cards that are really good. Erupting Rhapsody. Banish. I was about to say this should be a harmony. Okay, cool. Banish any amount of fire element cards from your graveyard. Your champion gets +1 level until the end of turn for each card banished this way. Fire and Momentum, Energetic Beast Bonder, Ember Song, Focus Flames. A lot of cool fire stuff going on here. Still good artwork. Ignited Stab, Prepare. Let's see. I really like the art for this one here. On death, draw a card, then discard a card. Costs 5 for 3/2. Planted Explosive. Patient Rogue. Has stealth as long as it's awake. Beginning of your recollection phase, Patient Rogue gets +3 damage at the end of turn. This seems pretty good actually. I'm gonna wager this one's fairly good. Increasing danger. Draw a card. Each player draws a card into their memory. Cool. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to spend too long on everything, so I'm trying to get past all this, and not not have like an hour-long video. This chick looks pretty cool. 3/1/1. Allies your opponent's control enter the field rested. Balance. She gets +3 as long as the amount of cards in your hand and memory are equal. Seems pretty good. I assume allies can't attack the turn they're played. which would make a little bit of a difference on how good that is. But I assume they can't, but it still seems decent even if they can't. We have another assassin here. Look at your opponent's memory, then choose any card name. Cards that cost 1 more to play. So yeah, I feel like blue is gonna is gonna upset people. So people familiar with Magic might be aware of that. But we'll see. It'll be fun. Ensnaring Fumes. We get a wind element though, which is fun. I feel like we don't see wind as often and stuff, but it's definitely a cool element. So happy to see wind here. Windstream Mutt, that's fun. On enter, reveal a card at random from your memory. If that card is wind element, choose another ally you control and put a buff counter on it. Okay, that's fun. Nothing super special there, but still fun. Let's see. Then there's Crux. I don't exactly know what Crux is about, but, you know. Got some extra stuff here. Got the Infiltrator, another assassin. Whenever you reveal Infiltrator from your memory, you may put it onto the field. This seems pretty good for assassin decks. I feel like that's going to be ran for sure for assassins. And then we have the Light Blade. Reveal a card from your memory at random. If a Luxem element card was revealed, gains critical 1 until the end of turn. If attack damage would be dealt by a source with critical 1, double the damage unless an opponent discards a card. That's cool. I like that. It's kind of a unique effect, so it was interesting. Yeah, assassins I feel like would be the way I would go if you have not noticed yet. But yeah, lots of cool stuff here. I was about to say, this guy looks like he's prideful, and then he has pride 10. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'd be champion level 10 or higher. Cost 4 for 8/6. On enter, allies you control get +1 for each animal or beast ally in your graveyard until the end of turn. Yeah, no, that's kind of fun. Seems like he could be a finisher, like a boss monster for the animal and beast decks. I'm kind of curious why they separated animal and beast, since they like to pair them up in the text a lot. A little bit curious about that. Let's preserve. When this ally dies, put it into your material deck preserved. As you materialize, you may instead return a preserved card to your hand. Whenever Meadow Bloom, Dryad, or another ally enters the field under your control, put a buff counter on target ally. This seems a little good. I don't know. Is this uncommon? Okay, I'm not quite sure how good the preserve ability is, but it just seems... I don't know. I feel like this card, it costs 2, has 3 life over here, and it can just keep coming back. It keeps buffing up stuff. I feel like this will see play. That kind of stands out to me as being a good card. So save the video. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Come back to it, and we'll see. But yeah, I think the set looks good. It looks cool. The artwork's beautiful. I can tell they spent a lot of hard work and money on this. So yeah, let me know what you think about Grand Archive. What are you most excited about for it? And if you're into tabletop games and anime in general, then consider jumping into our Discord community where we talk about all kinds of fun stuff, tabletop games, video games, anime, all the cool things. Love to have you there. And as always, take care and stay awesome. Hey, what is up? If you're a fan of anime and tabletop games, then be sure to check out our card games, tabletop role-playing games, and even our manga. We have a lot of fun stuff over there for you to check out on our website, VindicateEntertainment.com. We even have a brand new tabletop role-playing game, Black Paper Moon. Check it out, and we'll see you there.